Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and welcome to another video. And this time around, we are going to talk about the Argentine players remaining in the Champions League this season, as well as the state of Argentine players in the Champions League the last couple of seasons. So let's just get into it. There are 11 Argentine players left in the Champions League. The round of 16 draw has taken place. 7 of the 8 ties involve at least one Argentine player. So let's take a look at the tie, at the draw itself. We have FC Porto with Alan Varela up against Arsenal. We have Giovanni Simeone and Napoli versus Barcelona. We have the big one involving 4 Argentine World Cup winners, Lautaro Martinez and Inter, the finalists last season, against Rodrigo de Paul, Angel Correa, and Nahuel Molina of Atletico Madrid, with Diego Simeone as the coach. Then we get Walter Benitez of PSV up against Borussia Dortmund. We got Tati Castellanos of Lazio against Bayern Munich. We have Matteo Tanlongo of Copenhagen versus Julian Alvarez in Manchester City, obviously the champions from last season. And then we have Nico Paz of Real Madrid versus Red Bull Leipzig. So 11 Argentine players left. How many of them do you guys see making the quarterfinals? For me, I think we're going to lose a couple. We're probably going to end up losing Matteo Tanlongo and Tati Castellanos. We're going to lose at least one Argentine when Inter take on Atletico Madrid. And who knows what could happen between Porto and Arsenal, and even Napoli and Barcelona, who knows? But I think we're going to lose. We're certainly going to lose a couple, in my opinion. And that kind of brings me to my next point, which is, out of those 11, how many of them do you guys actually see as real contenders to win the Champions League this season? Personally, and no disrespect to any of the players or any of the clubs, and I'd love to be proven wrong, outside of Alvarez, I don't really see an Argentine player winning the Champions League this season. I truly don't. And I don't know if because it's the current state of European club football, or because Argentine players maybe these days are more in Europa League teams. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but outside of Alvarez, I don't see it. We have Lautaro Martinez and Inter last season who made the final. Will they make it this season? Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. In my opinion, probably not. I don't see them making the final again. Atletico Madrid are always difficult and not very fun to play against, but historically speaking, we've seen them make the finals more than once and never able to get through that hurdle. Will this season be it for them? Hopefully. But, we sometimes get those Cinderella runs where maybe an underdog team makes it to the semifinals or finals, but ultimately I don't see Varela or Simeone or Castellanos or Tanlongo really making the final, right? And Nico Paz of Real Madrid, potentially. Madrid is Madrid when it comes to the Champions League. They're never a team you really want to face against. They're never a fun team. They have the experience and they have that Champions League luck or mentality, whatever you want to call it. It's there. But really, aside from Alvarez, and sure, we could throw in Nico Paz in there, I don't really see an Argentine player lifting the Champions League this season. And in terms of the current state of Argentine players in the Champions League, historically speaking, a lot of Argentines have won the Champions League or have made finals, right? We went through a couple of years where Messi and Mascherano would make a final and win it with Barcelona. We had Di Maria win it with Madrid. We even had Willy Caballero as the backup goalkeeper with Chelsea winning it. You want to go back maybe 13 years or so now, almost 14 years. Inter Milan with Diego Milito and Zanetti and Samuel and Cambiaso, they won it. Before that, you had Mascherano in 2007 with Liverpool, Tevez with Manchester United. You had Crespo with Milan in 2005 in that memorable final. So, historically speaking, we've always had Argentine players in the finals or at least in Champions League contender teams. And for whatever reason, and guys, let me know, please, maybe it's just me, I don't know. But it feels like the amount of Argentine players playing for Champions League contender clubs, the number has diminished. And if we look at, let's say, for example, Emiliano Martinez, a tremendous season for himself and Aston Villa, but they're not in the Champions League. Could they be in it next year? Absolutely. Enzo Fernandez with Chelsea, not in the Champions League, and in all likelihood will not make it next season either. Christian Romero with Tottenham, not in the Champions League. Will he make it next season with Tottenham? Possibly. Possibly. It is Tottenham, so we can never really tell with them, but it's a possibility. Alexis McAllister with Liverpool, not there this season, should in all likelihood make it next season. But all of this to say, and these are just some names involving the current national team players, not many of them play for the top European or top Champions League clubs rather. And I don't know if this is because it's the current state of European football, where there's maybe 2 or 3 teams at most that you could really kind of point and say, you know what, this team is a favorite or a heavy favorite to win the Champions League, right? It's always, the last couple of years, it was always Barcelona, it was Madrid, and you had Bayern thrown in there. More recently, it's become Manchester City. Bayern is still there. Obviously, Madrid is Madrid, and again, they're likely always going to be there. So I don't know if it's because of that or just a matter of there are a lot of very good clubs to play for, but the ones that could really just win the Champions League, like I said, it's barely a handful. I mean, does 2 really count as a handful? I mean, yes, technically it does, but we're not talking about more than 2 or 3. So I don't know what's going on with that. Let me know. Let me know, guys. Do you prefer that the Argentine players remain where they are and they continue to get regular club minutes and play at a very high level? By the way, I'm not trying to put down or diminish anyone. Aston Villa is in great form, Liverpool's in great form, but do you guys want to see that and continue to see that, or would you rather see them kind of move to a Champions League contender club and really push to try and win Europe's biggest club trophy? Let me know down below. I'm just kind of thinking, and I did a bit of thinking before recording this, but just historically, and I don't know if there's any correlation really, but historically speaking, Argentine players have gone to Italy a lot, and I know last season Italian clubs did well in European competition, making 3 finals. Although they didn't win them, they still made 3 finals, which is very impressive. But I don't know if it's because there's a lot of players that go there, Argentine players that go to Italy, and the current state of Italian football is maybe not so good. So I don't know if that also contributes to it. Let me know. Let me know, guys, down below. What do you guys think? Is it just me? Am I wrong about this? Am I right? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, please let me know your predictions for the round of 16. Who do you think is going to make it to the quarterfinals? And we'll see who's right and maybe who's wrong by the end of the beginning of March when all of this is over. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. Once more, my name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and thank you for watching.